Hello, everyone.
Hi, I'm Sage,
I'm Megan,
and you're back with us at
and
the Squeaky Floorboard
Floorboard
Society.
Society. Yay! Another week, another episode.
We are both sick.
Yeah, there's gonna be some sniffles, some coughing.
There might be a lot of cuts because my nose is just a fountain.
I'm a snot factory.
So there might be just random cuts that it doesn't make sense, but it's because it's either we do it now or it's just not going down my face for a fact.
And the funniest part is that we're both sick at the same time, nowhere near each other,
No, I
no
am 10
actual
hours
contact.
away. I just work with kids.
Yeah. We may have a special guest star at some point during this episode, and probably the next one too. I have a sick cat that is in quarantine.
The
She's in here
cat's
with
not
me.
happy about it.
No, she's got this could be my little small talk personal for the episode, I guess. So our cat Zuni she had something going on with her ears,
Oh.
and they got real itchy. She didn't have mites, like she doesn't have fleas. We don't really know what's going on. She went to the vet. They were like, I don't know either. So we have antibiotic stuff we've been putting on her ears, but she has to wear a cone, so she's pretty pissed about that. Because otherwise she can scratch at her ears, and she damn near ripped her ears off.
Oh, poor baby.
Like her ears are healing, but for a couple of days she kind of looked like a burn victim, like on her ears. It was
Oh.
very bad. It was very bad. Um, and now she's picked it herself somewhere else, and it looks kind of infected.
Oh, poor baby.
But we don't know. We don't know if she has something in her ears that could be a skin thing that the vet just missed. So she's going back to the vet, but just for safety, she's quarantined from her siblings until we take her to the vet.
I just have a quick question for you.
Hmm.
Do you have pet insurance? This isn't
No.
an ad or anything, it's just a genuine question.
Pet insurance companies sponsor us.
Definitely sponsor Megan.
Sponsor me. I don't have a dog anymore though. Jojo went to live with some people who have a ton of land
Oh,
because
that's probably good for
yeah.
her.
Yeah. Sage knows this. Obviously, you guys don't know this, but when I got my dog, she was about a medium-sized dog, maybe towards the upper end of medium. She's now like an XL dog, and my yard is not big enough for her. Supposedly she was done growing, but we didn't have the resources for an actual buffalo to live in our house.
Yeah, the
So,
last time I saw her, compared to the first time I saw her, which it's so crazy because we lived only about 30 minutes from each other, and we never saw each other. So
that's what best friends do.
literally, and we called a lot on the phone. And
Hmm.
we're constantly texting, just never saw each other. So it's so crazy because I would go over there and I'm just watching your child and your dog both grow up, and I'm like, that dog's getting way too big. Not even
Yeah,
just
no,
roundness, she was getting taller too.
she's longer, taller, rounder than she was supposed to be. And she went to a lovely retired couple
Oh, that's so
who,
nice.
yeah, they had a big old yard. They have a cat, so she still has a cat friend.
Aw.
I still have 7 animals though, so pet insurance. Maybe we can work something out.
Literally. So as you guys heard, we're both sick. My little small talk today is, what did I text you earlier today?
Oh, which thing?
That I was scheduling a minute clinic appointment.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
All right, so here's something so funny. This is how I know I'm dramatic. So because I've been so sick and it's been hitting my sinuses heavy, it's been hitting the rest of my body, but just my sinuses are the worst. Um, Logically, I knew that it was just my sinuses and the pressure in my sinuses, in
Hmm.
my ears, but I was so convinced that I had an ear infection because I had swimmer's ear where it was kind of muffled. So
Hmm.
I'm panicking and I'm like, I don't if this is an ear infection, I want to get ahead of it before the pain starts.
Oh god, yeah, I had one not that long ago and it was terrible.
Well, I haven't had one since I was 6 years old. Knock on wood.
Lucky you.
And well, it's crazy because my mom gets them all the time. Like the wind blows the wrong way and she gets one. But
Like a
I
6-year-old child.
literally. But I've been lucky not to have one for this entire time. Still knocking on wood over here.
Right.
I come into my office, I blow my nose, and I'm probably in here for about an hour. I can hear perfectly fine. There's no clogged. They don't hurt. I was dramatic for no reason.
Right.
I did still, however, order eardrops off of Amazon. So those will be coming in tomorrow. So if it does happen, I can kind of get ahead of it.
For those who are watching, you're about to see me move my light because I can see the shadow of my nose and it's bothering me.
And for the listeners, that's what all the noise is if we hear any.
Yeah, I do have a pretty good mic about canceling certain things out.
You do. Your mic is really good for canceling.
I don't recommend this mic though because it hurt. It's attached to these headphones, and the headphones hurt my ears. I don't really
The
know that this
mic
is much better.
itself is amazing.
I should just take the headphones off and like hold my mic next to my face.
Nobody
Sage,
will be able to
is
hear
this
me.
looking okay?
It looks okay for me. The only thing like I said, was that I think you need to be closer to the middle. Like you need to scoot that way. But other than that, great.
Is that better?
Yeah, that'd be great. Because I can still technically cut off like half of my video.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because my
Big
camera,
empty shelf. Took all the coats out.
well, my camera also, I feel like when I'm looking at this, shoots at a wider angle.
Yeah, I just have a shitty webcam though, so that might be why. I feel like there's a weird white line down the middle of my screen.
Sick. We're doing our best.
Leave that in, honestly. Oh
That'll be the
no.
thumbnail.
Yeah, here, thumbnail.
Your eyes look
Hit him
really
with
pretty, though.
it's the blue-eyed stare.
I love blue eyes. We all know this.
I actually didn't know that until just now when you said that. I
Were you not around when
okay.
my dad wrote a song about me, about how I have a thing for blue eyes and felonies?
No.
It was when I worked at the sawmill. Because every guy I
She
got with had blue eyes and a long list of felonies.
she's pooping behind me.
Oh, I haven't seen my cat all day.
Is she okay?
I'm probably.
Bro,
Well,
cats are just like that.
well, and also, like, since we've gotten a bigger house,
Mm.
I never know where she's at.
Next will help you get pregnant.
I know, I was telling my husband that. I was like, hey, look, a full moon's supposed to be happening soon. We gotta wait 5 days after that. I'm sure I will still be taking Mucinex at that point. We'll try.
I thought it was Gevaudan, but apparently it's Gevaudan.
Give,
Gevaudan. Gevaudan.
sorry to anyone in France.
Give a damn. Girl.
Guys, oh, I do have another really quick little story. That's kind of
Tell it.
funny. So on top of me taking a bunch of Mucinex, everyone by now knows that I'm dyslexic. I've been taking the Mucinex cough drops.
Hmm.
My mind cannot get past the second word because it reads it as enchilada, and it's not enchilada. I don't even know what's going to show on here.
Oh.
And my brain keeps saying it's enchilada.
Enchilada flavor.
Honey, and it's not. It made my whole mouth and throat go numb, and I was like, this is a godsend.
Right.
Back to the story.
Back to Gevaudan,
Gevaudan.
apparently.
So today I'm covering a case that isn't like any of the other ones I've really researched. Although the ones I have done, the way I set up all of these are like a script, and I wrote them in based on the order that I did them. So it was like referring to the other ones. So if you see me skipping around and it seems like I'm a little bit like what, it's because I wrote these in an order and was referring to previous ones. So all my other cases are pretty much a case where someone claimed to be a werewolf, but today is nothing like that. I was looking for sources as one does when you cover a case, and during the search, I found a really strange article. A person was writing about how they were a descendant from France, and their bloodline shows that they are the child of the beast.
Hello.
And they were going into deep details, and it's strange once you hear the whole story. Like, I literally was just staring at my screen, like, I did not just read all of that. I also want to tell our listeners something. I know I've told you before, I don't speak French. I've tried to learn really I tried to learn to say a really long word, and it was only supposed to pronounce like 3 of the letters, and decided French is not for me in the slightest.
Me either. I took German.
So I chose to go with Spanish. Well, I took Latin in high school, and then I tried to learn French after, and so now I'm learning another language that makes me want to cry, which is Russian. So, Privyet Kakdela. So we are traveling back to the 18th century France, a land shadowed by not just a revolution, but royalty and by a beast. A creature of claw, tooth, and legend. The predator stalked I want to say the Margeride Mountains. I'm so sorry.
I don't even know this one.
And left over 100 bodies in the wake. This is the beast of Gevaudan. The attacks covered an area spanning about 56 miles by 50 miles, or 90 by 80 kilometers. The year is 1764. The location is the remote highlands of Gevaudan, an isolated province in south central France filled with thick forest, rocky cliffs, and sleepy scattered villages. Now, the French resistance made a stronghold here during World War II, largely for that reason, which I just thought would really be a fun little
Mhm.
history fact to join in. So it's early summer. A young woman herds cattle in the Maricourt forest near Lange. I want to say lasagna. That's not right. Langegene. Suddenly, a rustle in the bush. Out steps a creature. It was massive with reddish fur, black stripes, and a long, thick tail. A head like a wolf's, but something was wrong. It was the size of a cow with an unusually broad chest. She quoted saying, like a wolf, but not a wolf. She froze in place. Then from behind her, the bulls charged, a wall of horns and hooves. The beast backs off, but it doesn't run. It tries again and again until the herd finally drives it away. Days later, this creature returned. On June 30th, 1764, Jean Boulet becomes the beast's first victim. She was found dead with her throat torn out. On July 1st, she was buried, so she could not confess before her death. It was so brutal that her burial certificate denies her the sacraments. That's the word?
Sacraments, yeah.
Okay. The priest wrote only one thing: killed by the ferocious beast. This suggests that she is not the first victim, but only the first one to die. What is sacraments?
Sacraments. So they would have been Catholic at this time. Um, Probably in that region. So Catholicism has the 7 sacraments. I believe it's 7. Um, they include confession, baptism. Let me start at birth. Baptism, confession, communion, confirmation, marriage, anointing of the sick, and like last rites.
Okay.
I think that's all of them. So she was unable to make her final confession. So that was one sacrament that she missed out on, and that's part of your last rites typically. And she wasn't able to be administered her final rites by the priest either because she died before
So based on
anyone could do that.
Catholicism, she's not going.
So she's probably it's not. It doesn't mean she's not going to heaven, but it does indeed mean that. So the purpose of like last rites is to cleanse the soul of sin, so that you can go directly to heaven and you don't have to spend time in purgatory. Mhm.
Um, I will say that my only knowledge of any like religion really, outside of people that I've been directly like friends with or have talked to about religion, is the Hell's Bells series on TikTok.
Have you seen The Exorcist?
No.
Are
You
you for real?
know that I've never seen a majority of the movies that people ask me.
Well, me either, but even I've seen The Exorcist. Holy smoke. No, I said that because they depict, like, last rites. When spoiler alert for a movie that came out in the 70s, um, the priest gets thrown out the window at the end and dies. And,
Oh,
as he's laying there, you know, um, dying with his, head busted open on the steps from flying down them out of Reagan and her mother's apartment, another priest comes up to him and is like asking him if he wants to make any last confessions, and he does like this business.
okay.
He's doing his last rites.
I've also never seen any of The Conjuring.
I'm gonna go see the new one probably.
Never seen any of them. I never watched any of the Paranormal Activities.
I've only seen the first two of those. I stopped after that because they weren't good after the second one.
I I remember watching one of the Saw movies way too young, and that's because my dad's obsessed with the Saw movies.
Of course he is.
I'm trying to think of other like
Friday
scary
the
movies.
13th.
The only one I've seen is Freddy vs. Jason.
You need to see Jason X. It's incredibly bad.
I've I've watched all of the Halloweens. I have watched all of those.
Okay, those are
So
good. Terrifier. I know that's kind of a newer franchise.
no,
Fantastic.
I've never. I don't watch a lot of movie, y'all. And I
I don't either.
actually made a note in that the file that I was telling you where it was like little things to talk about. And it says one of the things I wrote is there's like so many movies and TV shows that I want to watch, and I think the reason I don't is because I get so overwhelmed trying to pick that I
Yeah.
just don't watch anything. So the Beast of Gevaudan has claimed its first life, and it would not be its last. A second victim was reported on August 8th. A 14-year-old girl. She lived in Hamlet of Meaghan, is what I'm going to say it is. These two victims were killed in the Alier Valley. With the chilling death of Jean still fresh in the minds of the villagers, it didn't take long for the attacks to escalate, as it typically doesn't. Over the next several months, a disturbing pattern began to emerge, a pattern soaked in blood and shadow. Children, mainly girls, were vanishing, only to be found later, if at all. Their bodies mutilated, torn apart with the telltale signs of savage mauling. The throat, almost always without fail, was the target. Torn, chewed, and crushed, as if the killer knew exactly where to strike to silence a scream. One might be tempted to think that these were wolf attacks. After all, wolves were no stranger to the French countryside. But the locals knew wolves. They had fought them, trapped them, and feared them for centuries. What they were facing now, this was different. The survivors, rare as they were, spoke of something monstrous, something so unnatural. A creature that moved like lightning, leapt like no beast they'd ever seen. Some described it walking on two legs before returning to four. It was said that their eyes gleamed with a terrible intelligence, and its strengths impossible. And yet, the beast didn't just attack; it toyed. It stalked. It returned to the same villages. It killed during the day and sometimes in broad daylight. And often left its prey half consumed, as though it didn't hunt for hunger, but almost like it was for pleasure. Now, my husband, I don't know if I say this, my husband did make a point that he was like, could this have been just a normal serial killer who was getting these people and then the wolves were just happening to get it? And they would,
Or disguising it as wolf attacks.
yeah. And that's what my husband was saying, because he's like, some of these stories that you're describing, I could understand where like it's coming from in these, but he's like, but if there's so many of them that are disappearing, he's like, do you think it could have been a serial killer? I was like, it very well could have been. I mean, because we only have the evidence of the survivors. We don't have any of the stories from the girls who have passed. What are you laughing
They
about?
got a fursuit.
But this was no simple predator. This was something worse. Something with a taste for innocence, the vulnerable and the alone. In September 1764, a young shepherd boy disappeared. Partially eaten remains were found at the hills. By the end of 1764, the people of Gevaudan were gripped by a full blown panic. By late December, rumors had begun circulating that there might be a pair of animals behind the killings. This was because there had been such a high number of attacks in such a short span of time, and because many of the attacks appeared to have occurred, or reportedly, nearly simultaneously. Some contemporary accounts suggest the creature was seen with another such animal, while others reports that the beast was accompanied by its young. Tales of the beast spread quickly, though, and as we know, when one person says it, it spirals. Even if you haven't seen it or you know nothing about it, your brain will start to make up stories that you will believe. Each retelling added new horrors. The creature now had bulletproof skin. It could vanish into thin air. It only preyed on sinners or was sent by the devil himself. The fear wasn't just local anymore. The Bishop of Mende, Gabriel Flaun, that's a long name, gave the beast a holy explanation, declaring it a punishment from God. On December 31st, he demanded public penance. He called on the people to atone for their sins. Entire villages gathered for mass, prayer, processions, and fasting. A nation steeped in religious superstition now saw the beast not as a creature of nature, but as judgment from the heavens. So the bishop quoted the book of Deuteronomy. I will also send the teeth of beast upon them with the poison of serpents. He wasn't being metaphorical, and the killings continued. Children, shepherdess, and woodsmen. Dozens would die in the first wave of attacks. Some victims were found beheaded, others with their hearts removed. Some were never found at all, and they were just simply gone as if swallowed by the forest itself. By the winter of 1764, Gevaudan was no longer just a haunted region. It had been a cursed land, and the rest of France was starting to take notice. So now we're going to jump over to January 12th, 1765. A pack of children were attacked near Villaret. One boy, Jacques, I
Is this
know,
Pontify?
yeah, I was like, I know this is not pronounced the way that it looks.
I don't think it's pronounced like Pontifex. I think it's like Pontify, kind of like faux pas.
We're just going to continue calling him Jacques. Rallies to 7 friends. They stay together, shouting and swinging sticks. They fight off the beach. The beach.
The beach. That doesn't happen for like another 200 years where they fight off the beach in France.
Their courage reaches the ears of King Louis the 16th. I know Roman numerals. I took Latin. Oh my god. He rewards the boys with, I want to say it's 300 livers. I know that's not the currency name, but that's what we're going to go with. To Jacques and 300 to be shared among the other boys. The king also rewarded Jacques with an education at the state's expense. He decreed that the French state would help. On February 11th, a girl was buried. She was about 12 years old and had been partly devoured by a man-eating beast. And now France is the most powerful monarch in Europe at this time, and it declares war on the beast. The king sends in soldiers, hunters, and bloodhounds. Nobles are being offered rewards. A cardboard effigy of the beast is created to train hunting dogs, which is actually still a very common thing to this day. Leaders flooded in from all across France, some offering ideas, others warning of the devil's work. But the beast, he just kept killing. Captain Dommel of the dragoons arrived with troops eager for glory. But locals refused to help. Herders refused to cooperate. Villagers, they didn't trust the outsiders. Duhamel nearly shoots the beast multiple times, but it always seems to escape. Eventually, he is replaced. The king sends Jean Chastels and his son, who were famed wolf hunters. They bring 8 bloodhounds and months of experience, but they also fail. Summer of 1765, a group of village women cross a small stream near Pollock. Among them is Marie Valet, a 20-year-old servant. Suddenly, the beast leaps out from the trees, and the women begin to scream. Some of them ran, because they had a brain. But Marie stands her ground with the spear in her hand. The beast lunges, and she strikes. Her spear drives into its chest. Blood begins to gush, and the beast stumbles. Then the beast dropped into the river and disappeared. As anyone knows, the word begins to travel, and it travels fast. The story quickly reached Antoine, who went to the scene. He found a spear, and it was covered in blood, and the traces found were similar to those of the beast. She becomes a hero. She was actually compared to the Joan of Arc. Newspapers began to call her the Maid of Gevaudan. But the attacks, they still continued. And if we've learned anything yet about this beast, is that it does not stop. A month later, a royal hunter, Francis Antoine, leads a massive hunt. And on September 21st, near the Abbey of Chazes, they succeeded. A massive gray wolf is brought down, over 5 feet long and nearly 130 pounds.
Big dog.
That is a very big dog. Survivors identify the scars, and even Marie recognizes it. It is stuffed and shipped to Versailles and displayed as a trophy.
To where?
Versailles.
Versailles?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm doing my best.
It's Versailles.
Is there a town? I feel like I've always heard Versailles. Is there one in Indiana that's called Versailles?
Probably. We probably pronounce it wrong here.
I
I
mean,
think here we pronounce it Versailles because we're uneducated. But the
there
one in France is indeed Versailles.
Versailles. Okay, I've always known it as Versailles, like the one in Indiana specifically.
I mean, that makes sense.
Antoine is celebrated and rewarded. The king declares the beast dead, and Antoine left Clement on September 27th and arrived in Versailles on October 1st. And he was hailed a hero. Now, here's where things get a little confusing, so this will come up again later. Anton and his game kept staying in Auvergne woods to chase down the beast's female partner and her 2 grown pups. They had been reported near the Abbey of Chaz. On October 9th, Antoine succeeded in killing the female wolf and 1 pup, which appeared to be larger than its mother. At the examination of the pup, it appeared to have double set of dew claws. The other pup was shot, and it was believed to have died while retreating back between the rocks. Antoine returned to Paris on November 3rd and received a large sum of money as well as fame, titles, and rewards. But, dear listeners, it wasn't over. As the year progressed into November, there were no attacks, and people began to rejoice. They started going back to their normal routines, and they were no longer scared. But on December 2nd, 2 young boys, ages 6 and 12, were ambushed. The beast tried to capture the youngest, but the older brother fights off the beast to save his brother. The beast was back, and it was hungry. More deaths follow. Some believe it was a second beast, or perhaps the same one, miraculously alive. Now, I want to point out that, because we've talked about the dire wolf being
Hmm.
mistaken, possibly being mistaken as a werewolf.
Yeah.
I don't know the measurements of a dire wolf off the top of my head, but
We can have them so fast.
we can.
They were about 5 to 6 feet long,
What do they
which
roughly weigh?
fits 110 to 150 pounds. It seems like a dire wolf actually does fit.
Yeah, so,
The Beast of Gevaudan.
and they say that the beast that they pull out is gray,
Gray.
5 feet long,
Yeah.
and 130
Mm-hmm.
pounds.
Right. So they can get. So a gray wolf can get up to 6 feet,
Okay.
and a dire wolf can get up to 7.
Okay.
Uh,
I don't think gray wolves can gray wolves get up to 130 pounds? I'm sure they can. If they can get up to 6 feet, I don't see how they couldn't get up to 130 pounds.
so they can be up to 145 pounds.
Okay, so
This could be a very, very large gray wolf. It could be dire wolves.
it could be I don't think it's a
I
werewolf,
have my I have my theory on what it is that I will say at the end.
and I can't wait to hear that. I think there are some theories at the end that we will talk about. Antoine then starts saying that it had to be pups and the mate. But again, remember he said that he killed it. And again, this is reports from the 1760s. So, reports
Could have been more.
don't line
Could have
up.
been more pups too.
Yeah. In the early 1766, letters spoke of the beast again, and this time near Mount Moshe. The terrain is rocky and wild, and it was the perfect hiding place. Many local hunts failed, poison bait was ignored, but the beast had grown cautious, and the court in Paris, they moved on. They didn't care anymore. King Louis XVI refuses to send more help. This means the people of Gevaudan are on their own. So now this is nearly 3 years have passed since Jean's death. The Marquis of Apcher organizes one last hunt. Among the volunteers is a quiet, devout farmer named Jean Chastels. This is probably my favorite part of this entire story. Local legend says he carried a prayer book and a bullet molded from medals of the Virgin Mary. Whether truth or myth, one thing is certain. June 19th, 1767, in the forest near Mount Mouchet, the beast appears. Jean raises his gun. He prays. He fires. And this time, the beast dies. The killing stopped for good this time. The reign of terror was over, but the mystery lives on. On June 20th of 1767, the day after the death of the animal killed by Jean, the royal notary wrote an autopsy report. And this was actually preserved in the French National Archives, and this memoir was discovered in 1952. Something tells me nobody goes through paperwork or inventory because, like, what do you mean it was just discovered again in
What do
1952?
you mean? What
Yeah,
do
like,
you mean?
I feel like you guys have inventory maybe? I feel like there might be where you're like, "Oh, well, this is what we have in stock. Let me go make sure everything's there." But
Right.
maybe not. But this provided precise information on the animal. And quote, "This animal, which seemed to us to be a wolf, but extraordinary and very different by its figure and proportions from the wolves that one sees in this country." End quote. The marine report details the dental formula. The upper jaw consists of 20 teeth, 6 incisors, 2 canines, and 12 molars. The lower jaw has 22, 6 incisors, 2 canines, and 14 molars. This likely points to a canid. The document also describes the animal's wounds and scars. So, what was the beast of Gevaudan? Some say it was a massive wolf. Others say it's a hybrid, a wolf dog, or even a lion escaped from. Is it menagerie?
Menagerie.
Okay, so I was pretty close. Theories involved a serial killer using trained animals. Some think it was a hyena brought from Africa, and others claim something darker, such as a demon, a werewolf, or a curse. Historians, scientists, and pseudoscience and conspiracy theorists have all proposed theories. Others have suggested that a human serial killer may be responsible for the attacks. Many of the beast's victims were reported to be decapitated, something few animals could do. The beast's body was lost and forgotten in the dusty museum, or it had rotted in the woods. But the legend has stayed. So we actually have some references to the beast in modern media. Brotherhood of the Wolf from 2001 is an action film based on the legend. In the film, the beast is a lion dressed up in armor to mask its identity. The Cursed from 2022 is a movie set in the late 19th century France, featuring the beast as a gypsy curse placed on a French village. Uh, in 2022, a German power metal band, Powerwolf, released a single titled, is it Betty de Gevaudan?
Bete de Gevaudan. Yeah.
Okay.
Good song.
Now, this one I do know. In the MTV series, Teen Wolf featured the beast as the primary antagonist in the second part of season 5 with the episode Maid of Gevaudan, retelling the original legend. It was the first mentioned in season 1 during Magic Bullet, linking the legend of the Argent family, which is later explained in the 5th season. I do like Teen Wolf.
I knew about the Teen Wolf usage of Gevaudan.
What's crazy is that I've watched that series like 6 times, and I didn't know this was in there. So, methinks I might need to do another rewatch.
It's a good excuse.
It is. And also, like, oh, what's his name? Tyler Mosey. I'll watch it again for him.
That could be any man. I would be none the wiser.
And oh my god, what is his name?
While you're looking that up, I'm going to chime in real quick with why so many children were killed
Yes, please.
in particular. This is because, and I have this as a note. At this time in France, so the vast majority of the people who were killed were like tending flocks, whether it be sheep, cattle, stuff like that, along with the occasional lone woodsman, right? At this time in France, the vast majority of sheep keepers were children or teens, since this was considered suitable work for them, whether male or female. And at that time, this was basically adulthood. Like
Yeah.
once you were like 13, 14 years old, you were an adult because you just, you were like what, 40 when you died?
Yeah, and that's why
That's
also like
that's an exaggeration. But would I trust a 14-year-old? Which I guess that's not that crazy. I mean, 14-year-olds still babysit sometimes.
yeah, that is true.
So like, I don't know that I would trust the average 14-year-old today to watch a flock of sheep, but a child in 1790s France that was 14 definitely was capable of it.
I think I would trust a 14-year-old if they were raised around it their entire lives.
That's true. A lot of these sheep keepers, their parents had been sheep keepers before them.
Um,
Um,
oh,
Another point, the Jacques Portefeuille guy.
yeah.
It's great that he paid for his education because he was actually bullied by other children for being weak and not good at athletic stuff previous to the beast attack. And he wanted to be like either a priest or a scholar, but his family was too poor to afford it. So, good thing the beast attacked them.
Um, then we can move over to Patricia Briggs's novel Hunting Grounds. The Beast and Jean are one of the same. He is the most feared alpha wolf in Europe. Do you personally think the Beast was?
I think that the beast was a family of, because obviously we have the coinciding attacks, two places at once. Um, I think that the beast was most likely either A, a family of large gray wolves, B, a family of, some kind of hybrid or dire wolf or something, but I think they had rabies.
I can see that.
And that would make sense to me too. Their fear of humans is gone. Wolves typically don't attack humans in that way. So their exaggerated aggression would be explained. Although we don't know. I wasn't able to find, because I did kind of look into it. I couldn't find out if any of the survivors had been bitten. Because if they had gone rabid, that would be a surefire indicator. If they were like, hey, so Jean over there got attacked by the beast and now he's like eating his neighbor's face off, then that would be a pretty surefire way to know that it was a rabid animal. But also, it being a family that has rabies makes sense because rabies would probably it is easily transmitted through communities of animals.
And what's crazy is that because season 1 is werewolves, this is not a werewolf case. I do
No.
not believe this to ever be a werewolf case.
Mm-mm.
If this is straight up, I do believe, like you said, I do believe that this was like a gray wolf or a dire wolf. Rabies, I can
Hmm.
see that.
Yeah. No, and also animals that have rabies typically have not only the heightened aggression, but their judgment's bad. Their
Yep.
reflexes get kind of funky, so they probably weren't able to hunt normally.
Yeah, and like a bigger target to hunt that is not as fast, easy.
Yeah. And we also don't ever see any stories of, oh, I saw the beast drinking out of a creek. I saw the beast in the water.
Yeah. The
And
only
what are
time
what
we hear about a
what do
beast,
animals with rabies have? They have hydrophobia
yeah, and the
in the
only
later
time
stages.
we do hear about water is when he attacks Marie.
Hmm. Yep.
Um, Dennis and I both came up with the similar theories. Uh, he did believe that there was also a serial killer where he placed his victims. The wolves would be like, "Oh, hey, like look, a free dinner," and because of how the things lined up, I do believe that there was wolves that did attack, and many of them there were I actually think that a lot of them were just one wolf because a lot of them seem to be roughly in the same area. Now, I do believe that, like you said, there were some that were just simultaneously happening where it was like the same time, just in two different areas. So there more than likely definitely was several of them. But I do believe that there was probably a serial killer who was like
Yeah, I wouldn't put that out of the
actively
question.
because you're gonna get away with it.
Right. Like that makes complete sense to me that all this is going on. We've got this family of rabid wolves running around killing people, and you also want to kill people, so you cut their head off and put them in the woods. You're like, oh, the beast did it. That makes sense.
This also had another theory that I fucking loved.
What was it?
So the killings, obviously, we know that Jean Chastel killed another one,
Mm-hmm.
but Dennis believes that that wasn't what ended this all.
Mm-hmm.
Dennis believes that there is a serial killer, as we know, but he thinks that he was like trying to make a pact with the wolves, like, hey, I'll kill, you get free dinner, I don't get caught. And he thinks that the wolves probably caught him out hunting or doing something for his family, and he hadn't fed them in a while or helped get them anything, and they turned and
Which would
attacked
make
him
sense. That would definitely make some sense if
because
he was frequently around the wolves feeding them.
yep,
Um, because the killings obviously slowed down considerably.
yeah, and then they just stopped.
Or their rabies had reached a point where they didn't recognize him.
Yeah, and so I
Or he
loved
or he
that
got
theory,
or he got rabies himself.
and then just passed, and
Mhm.
so
Because it
that
manifests different. It doesn't manifest totally differently in humans, but we don't survive it as long.
yeah, but so that
Yeah,
is
rabies is hard to treat.
yeah, and scary, but that is the beast of Gevaudan. What do you guys think?
I have another theory that isn't my personal theory as well. It's
Mm,
not my personal thing. I've just heard it. which is the theory that the killings resumed because Jean Chastel wanted to make money, and so he set a new beast loose and then killed it.
Honestly, either way, I feel like Jean Chastel is kind of a badass for this time.
Yeah, I mean, having a bullet made from melted down metals of the Virgin Mary, that goes hard as fuck,
It
dude.
does. It
That's
really
so hard.
does. He's kind of a badass for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, just let us know what you guys think. Let us know if you guys have any theories that we haven't said. Oh, and like I said, I did find an article of someone claiming to be a descendant of that beast. And it was like, I've never done acid before, but reading that, I felt like I had done acid.
If you're that guy, hit us up.
It was fucking wild. He was like, he's French, and he's like, oh yeah, it was, I think his fourth great grandfather was, he said was the beast, and that they lived in a neighboring
How
village. It was,
how would DNA possibly prove that? Because we don't have DNA of the beast.
I don't know. It was
Bro,
when
he's got that good he's got that good. He's got that good kush.
yeah, because like I said, when I was reading, I didn't include it in here because I felt like it was pointless. But I
Right.
kid you not, me sitting there just reading it, I was like, I was kind of stopped to look around because I was like, I have done some drug. That's what's happened. I've had to have done some drug.
Do you think that guy goes outside when the moon's full and he's just like climbing up on stuff going, "Oh!" and his like neighbors are like, "What the fuck is he doing?"
Probably.
He's got a fursuit in the closet.
He probably does because, like, when I tell you this shit was fucking wild.
But I don't think he's a furry. I think he's a crazy person. Furries, this is not a dig at you, but I think you guys should hit this guy up and see what he's about for us.
It was, and it like, and what would have made? I think it would have made it fine, and I wouldn't have like I had done drugs if it was like a Reddit post. I'd be like, I'm not gonna hold belief to this, but like this guy dedicated an entire blog to this. I don't even think I
There,
included it in my like in my resources because when I read it, I was like, no, thank you.
that's actually crazy though.
It was well. Hold on, I'm looking to see if I put it in my resources.
I'm looking to double check and see if there's anything I need to add.
All right, I did not include it in my resources.
I'm sure if you Google it, dear listeners and viewers, you will find it.
It's an entire blog. Like, there's nothing else on this blog other than this guy trying to prove that he is the descendant of the beast of Jean
What is the point of proving that?
I don't know. I
What
don't.
kind of street cred do you get?
None.
Yeah, I feel like the answer is none. But yeah, let us know your thoughts on this case. Not really a case, more of a historical account. Let us know if you have rabies.
Send us pictures of
There's an
your if you see animals with rabies.
there. There's a. Have you heard of the rabiosexual crowd?
No.
Oh, unfortunately, I have. It started as a joke on Tumblr, but now there are people that do indeed take it seriously, I think. They made a rabiosexual pride flag. It's people that are aroused at the idea of getting rabies.
No, thank you.
No, thank you. The only thing that arouses me is when guys throw that, like they pee in a circle. That gets me going, but
That piss in
not
a
rabies.
circle.
Throw that piss in a circle, baby.
Oh
Or should I have growled?
god.
Should I have growled? I can't growl, my throat's too messed up. Anyways, we'll see you next week,
See you guys
guys.
next week. Bye.
Bye.